just sucks because Coffee City sounds like such a cool name of a place to live in. And then you find out. Find out that 1/5 of your town.
Oh my God, I don't believe that.
Okay, we are on and we can see.
Are we live?
Mhm.
Are we ready to rock and roll?
Yep.
Are the lone ladies up to it today
Sure.
to talk about some wonderful experiences that we've had the last week? And the first point is we're going to, actually it's a bit of a follow-up. A couple of weeks ago we discussed a police chief out in Coffee City, which is just outside of Houston, that there was it more police than citizens?
So there's, I think, a little over 200 citizens and 250 citizens and 50 police officers.
Okay.
So it says that that's usually about 5 times the number of cops that any town has.
Okay. And at times they was basically saying that there was an overreach. And anyway, they had looked at it, and apparently they came to a decision within, 15 minutes, you were saying? That.
Yeah, so after all this came to light, because a lot of these officers worked here in Houston and were doing a lot of off-duty security and things of that nature, they actually, the city got together, they took 15 minutes and they basically fired him and deactivated everybody in that police department until they find a new chief.
Is there any rioting at the moment in Coffee City?
Probably not, unless it's the policemen rioting.
Well, there's enough there's enough guns up there to stop any of that. Because I didn't know if anybody might take advantage of that. I hope not.
How can the majority work in Houston if it's 3.5 hours away from Houston?
Remember I said that to you. It's like, to me, it
maybe they weren't even live there. That's a possibility, because some of these didn't even work in Coffee City at all, but they were hired there.
I'm not going to drive 3.5 hours every day to go to work. Think about it.
I think they did like security jobs and things like that when they
In
were
Coffee
off duty.
City?
No. So like their main jobs were in Coffee City, but they had like security jobs
in Houston.
Yeah, or they'd come and help the Houston Police Department like on the weekends or something.
And still, that's a long drive every weekend.
That's 7 hours total.
No, but there was some that were hired on that they didn't even work at the police department. They didn't work in Coffee City at all, but that's where they were employed.
So they was paid for doing a great job.
I guess. Maybe just kind of like hanging their hat there so that they could work over here because nobody else would hire them. I don't know.
I didn't even know that they were actually working then.
First tonight, breaking news from the KHU 11 Investigates team.
Just a few hours ago, the city council in tiny Coffee City, Texas, voted unanimously to fire its police chief and deactivate the entire police department until a new chief can be hired. This comes after KHU 11 Investigates uncovered questionable practices in the department in a series of reports.
Population 249.
Tonight with the exclusive update, Jeremy.
Elementary schools have more population than that.
15 minutes to reach its decision. It means this tiny town of 250 people that once had 50 officers on the force now has none. Coffee City Council members took swift
It
and
was
serious
so funny because when you read the story, it sounds like there's so many people in the city council, but there's only 5 of them, and you forget that the town is so small.
So also, the chief tried to resign before they decided to fire him, but they wouldn't let him resign. I guess so that can kind of be a black mark on his record. On top of that, more than half of the department's 50 officers had been suspended, demoted, terminated, or dishonorably discharged from their previous law enforcement jobs.
Like the ones that he hired.
So what was he hiring?
that's crazy.
Gangbangers or what?
My theory is he was still trying to like create his own little mafia.
Gangbangers, mafia, cartels. What else?
Do you think? I know what we're saying
That's weird.
is obviously things have happened, but do you not think there should be, or should have been, or was there an investigation into it, an official investigation, or should any of them, because surely all the police officers aren't bad, should there have been a right to appeal for the police officers?
I guess, but the article says that they're stopping unless they get picked up by another police force. So nobody's allowed to work.
My question is, how did all this slip by? I know that he was doing these things and hiring these people, but who does he answer to?
Well,
The mayor?
And if he does, the mayor should be questioned about that. Because
Well-
how do you not catch these things?
let me just throw something in here. Why do them police officers need to even come to Houston to get extra work? I think 50 is far too many. Is it because of the amount of money that Coffee City are paying their police officers? Would they be better off with more police officers and getting, paid more? And no disrespect to anybody, but issuing more tickets, because whenever I go into these small little cities, I normally get a ticket.
That's because all the locals know where the cops sit.
The mayor says that he was shocked in the findings of the investigation and that they had no idea.
Where was an investigation done though? Was it done in Houston? Was it done in Coffee City? Or
It was
who
done
did
in
the
Coffee
investigation?
City.
Well, I think it was the main thing of the KHOU bringing light to it and it just being out there for everybody. And then probably, the Coffee City town people probably made a huge fuss of it. So the mayor had to do something.
Right.
He said we weren't fully aware.
Mm-hmm.
Fully, but you knew something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just got caught.
To me, everybody has the right to, appeal the particular decision, and that's what I don't think we should. I don't know if it was too extreme personally to just fire every single police officer.
Well, only 20 of them, it sounds like we're good. They said over half of them were basically criminals, so.
Well, they was basically cheating on time. That's what it sounds like.
No, what did, Laura or Courtney, you said that half of them that were hired after what happened?
So over half of the department, over half the 50 officers had either been suspended, demoted, terminated, or dishonorably discharged from their previous enforcement jobs.
Yeah, so he hired them and they were already bad cops. So, hey, only 20 of them are good, so hopefully those 20.
But that's what I'm saying, is there's...
Hopefully they can get some good
I think
jobs.
what they're doing is waiting for a new chief to get on there, and then they're probably
and then
going to
they'll
make
go through it.
cuts.
I hope
and
so,
go through
because
there.
I don't think out of 50 cops, I don't think you're going to get 50 bad ones. There's got to be some there that have done some good work or done something good for the community, maybe even got involved with the community, which I'm a big believer in, is community policing. But it's tough. That is tough. Anyway, let's talk about some good news coming up. Amazon have announced that they're going to hire 250,000 people for the holidays. Do you want to bring that up? which I think is great news, for a lot of people. But basically, Amazon are basically going to hire 250,000 people. Seasonal hiring is expected to be tepid this year, but Amazon has defined the forecast. The e-commerce giant says it will bring 250,000 workers to handle holiday demand, 100,000 job increase from last year. Employees in warehouse and delivery roles will also see an average pay bump of $150 an hour. Last week, analysts said hiring would likely sink to a 15-year low thanks to two major factors: rising labour costs and weaker consumer spending. Retail experts are expecting only modest sales growth as shoppers hold out for deals. One of the things which I'll just mention quickly is I made an order on Amazon about a week ago, and the guy that came in, I was just talking to him in general, and he was saying, I said, what's it like working for Amazon? Do they give you a bottle to pee in? And he turned around and he said, no. He said, it's nothing like that. He said he doesn't work in the warehouse. But basically, he was basically saying that, Amazon, as far as he was concerned, was a good company to work for. He said what basically happens is he makes his deliveries, he does his deliveries, he pushes them through, he delivers everything when he can, but they end up paying him for a 10-hour shift. If he can do all his work in 5-6 hours, then he gets that in. But he said it varies from day to day. He says some days it even takes him 11 hours and 12 hours. So he said, you take the rough with the smooth. He says the unfortunate thing is, he's only hired for 3 days or 4 days, whatever it is. They watch his hours because of the health benefits. But he said apparently they are going to change that in time and add that to it. But it also says on here that Target said Tuesday it would also hire 100,000 seasonal workers. Macy's will boost its ranks by 38,000, down from 41. That's what surprises me, because to me Macy's is not the store it used to be. My wife used to do shopping Stacey's like it was Walmart, and I mean she was there all the time, every year, and
I don't know, a lot of stuff
week,
has just moved online.
Do you think the big stores are actually going out of business? Because the truth of the matter, I'll tell you what I think happens. I think what happens is because I used to have an ice skating store, we used to sell ice skating stuff. So what would happen was, for example, a hockey player would come into the store, they would try a hockey glove on, which were like $30-40.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Make sure it's the right size. They like the style, it feels good. Then what do you think they would do? They would go on and order it online.
Cheaper,
just to make sure it fits properly. It's a bit like jeans, all right? On Amazon, I've ordered 2 pairs of jeans, all right? Both different sizes, all right? One was my regular size, it didn't fit. It was just, it varies with different makes, so, and I'm not going to tell you what the last one was.
Yeah, Sears went out of business last year, I think, or maybe the year
Did it?
before.
I think a lot are going to either get smaller or kind of go out of business. I mean, even like Toys R Us went out of business, and I honestly, in a million years, I would have never thought that would happen. But
I've never thought Toys R Us
Was so
it's so easy to go on Amazon, and
know-
these kids know how to search Amazon too. I'll go on my Amazon account and there's all these things in the basket. I'm like, what are y'all doing, guys?
But it's easy, you see, and it's easy for the kids to do it and get round the parents. To be perfectly honest, I mean, I do the same thing. I go into our family account and I'm like, where did this come from? All the credit cards are in there.
Oh yeah.
My kids don't go to Amazon.
What's that?
My kids don't go and put anything.
I think they're better off not going to Amazon. Personally, I would rather support local businesses.
It depends too, because sometimes Amazon is more expensive because it gets there faster. So Like you can look up the
Well,
same item.
Amazon have changed a lot.
Yeah.
You know,
It's affordable.
originally if you had Amazon Prime, it was free shipping. I don't know if that's still the case.
It is.
I haven't got Amazon Prime anymore. I'd rather just wait a bit longer and, you know, not pay the shipping.
I've actually been in an Amazon warehouse before, and it is crazy how big they are and chaotic and just
And there's a lot of them.
machinery everywhere.
Yeah.
Going every which direction.
And the other thing that with Amazon that they've changed is now they're charging a restocking fee.
Mhm.
So if you take something back, they're going to charge you a restocking fee.
I think, especially, I think they do it if you do multiple returns, like over and over too. They'll charge you, which is like,
Mm-hmm.
I guess, I mean, it makes sense.
So
Can we talk about? Let's talk about two women accused of throwing a baby like a toy outside of a bar.
Can you play that video, Kay?
With the people throwing the baby?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's disgusting if that's the case.
This is because they're arguing, and also why don't any of them have pants on?
They have a bikini.
Watch as a woman wearing a thong bikini is seen on surveillance tape holding a baby, taking a swing at a woman with 16 outside a bar. The time, 1 a.m. The place, Daytona Beach. Watch as a woman wearing a thong bikini is seen on surveillance tape holding a baby, taking a swing at a woman, recording her on a cell phone. Her friend, also in a skimpy bikini, steps in front and attempts to block the crowd. So,
Well, she's definitely got a boxing figure.
Police say the witness was trying to videotape a truly disturbing incident in which the two women dressed in thong bikinis were seen tossing a baby like a football.
She was tossing the baby in the air, and it was aggressive, and it was pretty scary. What can you do? You can't physically take the baby. You might harm it even more.
One woman was reportedly seen holding the baby upside down by the ankle. It happened outside the Coyote Ugly bar. One woman even offered to hold on to the baby. When cops got there, she explained what is going on. Store owner Sean Knapp says his security cameras next door captured the action.
It almost looks like the poor child's head hits the rail. And just watching it, it tears your heart apart.
Police said the little boy may have suffered a
What is it
broken
with-
arm. Brianna LaFleur,
Florida's
19,
nuts.
and Sierra Newell, 20.
Florida, man.
People are just nuts.
No, I mean honestly, in Florida, there's so many things that, you know, I've had some friends move to Florida and they're just.
So they were under the influence and drunk. They were intoxicated. So they were arrested. So we'll see if they get charged with something, because that's crazy for them to be doing that to a poor baby. I mean, honestly, when you're intoxicated, you shouldn't even be taking care of a baby.
Yeah,
In my personal opinion.
I just don't understand why he kept, like, bringing up the fact that they were wearing bikinis. Because when we were at the beach, they're in Florida. It's so random. But yeah, you should not. I don't know why they would have their baby with them. Hey, Steven, when's your birthday?
What's that?
When is your birthday?
May 23rd, 1960.
Ooh, you checked out the whole birthday. I don't know. This is just disturbing. What do you think, Laura?
They're nuts.
She has no words. None.
They're nuts.
Yeah, Laura's not feeling well today, so
Yeah.
let's go on to.
I just wanted to say the reason I asked you for your birthday is because there's a game that people used to play because Florida is so crazy that you type in your birthday and you figure out what happened on the headline of that day. So it's like there's a headline. So this one says Florida man arrested for attacking daughter with pizza.
I'm sorry, that's not funny.
So,
What was I saying?
You know what that reminds me of?
That
The
nuts in
tortilla
Florida.
challenge. Do you know what the tortilla challenge is, Steven?
No, I don't.
There's another one. I'm so sorry. I'll let you tell about the pizza, but this one says Florida man climbs on playground equipment to tell kids where babies come from. And this is the mug shot.
Is this what happened on my birthday?
Yes. Maybe.
That's not the year, though.
Yeah, it won't come up with the year because it's 1963. So.
That's interesting.
Welcome to Florida, everybody.
When's your birthday, Courtney?
No, we're not starting that.
You don't want to play the Florida man game?
See, I'm the one that gets kicked in the guts.
Let's see.
Mine's August 8th, though.
Let's see. August 8th. Florida man asks Walmart employee for anything that would kill 200 people. Florida man accused of flooding emergency room after attacking nurse and stripping. So, there you go, Courtney. That's great for you.
Thanks.
And Laura, what's your Florida man day?
Oh Lord, are we really gonna do this? July 24th.
My son's is the 26th.
Okay. Florida man shows off gun, accidentally shoots himself. And brave Florida man serves up hot dog lunch for alligators. That's something Laura would do.
Serves up a hot dog lunch.
Yeah, he said he made hot dogs and served them to alligators.
I watched a video the other day where a man in Florida decides to feed an alligator and feeds it with a little bit of chicken, and he lost his fingers.
Wouldn't doubt it.
This guy almost lost his head. There you go, Laura.
No, thank you. Maybe my son, but not
What?
my dog.
You
But-
feed your son to the alligator?
That's a little more than just serving up hot dog lunch. This man is feeding these alligators having a hot dog in his mouth. That's a little more crazy.
They made it sound so wholesome.
It was not.
I thought he was just giving him the
That's what I thought with his...
Oh no. This man likes to be up close and personal.
That's absolutely
There's a
nuts.
maniac every day.
That's a nuts.
Okay, what's next?
All right, let's talk about Republican Tommy Tuberville. Traditionally, Republicans have been very supportive of the military, and supported our military on different things. And Tommy Tuberville is holding back the government, which could result in a possible shutdown, because basically he does not believe in basically women or abortions being offered to people in the military, depending on, even regardless what state they're in.
For people in the military?
Mm-hmm.
So are they trying to make different rules for people in the military and not?
No, it depends what state you're in, you see, because what's happened is it was determined that apparently it was going to be left to the states to what point they go. So basically what Tommy Tuberville's doing, he's refusing to vote or even do anything which could, basically he's saying it's my way or the highway. And a lot of veterans that were in the military are basically saying that, this is a really bad thing to do, because there's 3 commandants that are not in position, which affects over 300 families in the military. And it's not just a case of affecting, the military and 300 families, because all them kids have got to go to school. They was expecting to go to, posted at a particular place, then the kids have got to go to the local schools. They've got all the other stuff to go, have their wives, taken jobs, just regular jobs, and and so it's a real problem, and he's holding it all up, and he's putting America in such a bad position, and the likes of President Xi of China, wherever his name is, and Putin and North Korea, I think they're loving this.
So what do you think about this? Because he said, I'm voting for people of Alabama, and I'm going to stand up for what I believe is right when it comes to the right to life and a lot of things that go along with it.
I still say the same thing. I think it's a woman's right. I don't think it's a man's right to determine that, or a politician that is 69 years old. I think it's the woman's. I think it's a family. It's a family decision, and it's a woman's decision on what that goes. I think apparently the Roe versus Wade, originally there was 12 weeks or something, was it? They could do the abortion, but after that they couldn't. And I think that was fair. I think it was something that,
Some people don't find out that they're pregnant within that time period.
Well, there you go. But
Depends on the person.
I'm just curious as if it's is he saying that the military is just not going to pay for them?
No.
Or is it just like...
He's protesting against allowing service members to travel for abortion care if it is restricted where they're based at.
She's explained it better than me. That's correct.
That's
right.
Silly.
So the truth of the matter is there's also a lot of female people in the services that, are now in a difficult situation, and they think there'll be a lot of service people that resign. We've had a lot of people that are not signing up for the military now. I know that the Army have undersubscribed this year for recruiting. The Air Force is the same, and Navy's down.
When you join the military, you don't get to choose exactly where you go, correct?
No, you can choose where you go.
Not the branch, but the like what state you go to, is she saying?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got you. Yes, I got you. Oh, yeah. But I mean, if I look back on the years, I wanted to join the Royal Air Force, and I really wish to a certain degree I'd done that. But with skating, it was just impossible. But when I look back on that, I would have loved that. But I think it's very sad when you've got one person dictating to, the majority of people.
He has no right.
What's that?
He has no right, especially to dictate that for service men and women.
I understand
no
the religious implications.
It doesn't matter. Religion doesn't come into effect. It's the person's own body. Every person has the decision to do whatever they want with their body. Like, if the LBJ whatever community, they're allowed to do whatever, then why can't military men and women that are dying for our country? That's absurd. So
I'm with you on that, Laura.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to thank you for stepping up to that, because I would never have thought you would have sort of had that point of view, to be perfectly honest.
No, well, I mean,
but I agree with you 100%.
Everybody has a right.
It's your body. You do what you want with it because you
believe in whatever they want.
Because you've got to live with it at the end of the
day.
day.
Want, right? And we can't judge a person by what they do. I mean, if they're criminals, that's something different, right? If they're going around shooting people, but these are service men and women.
Can I share something with both of you?
Sure.
There was a previous girlfriend that I was dating in Europe. She fell pregnant. It was her decision to get the abortion. I didn't want her to get the abortion. I said, that's fine, we'll do all the right things, we'll get married, or da-da-da-da-da. And you know what? I think of it every day. I even know the date when she had the abortion. She never even told her parents. Her parents don't know to this day.
But see, some people get abortion for medical reasons. It's not always because
And it's
they don't want
cultural
the
as
child,
well.
right?
And there's cultures.
There's culture, there's religion.
There's
Like
so
me,
many
I'm
factors.
I'm
You can't-
pro-life. I don't believe in abortion unless it's for, medical necessity. But I don't judge anybody that does something different.
I mean,
So.
I think we
you can't,
discussed
you
that
know?
too.
But as military service men and women, they should have more of a
I
right,
think,
Especially when they're giving their life to the country and they're moving all over the world and making all these sacrifices.
It's not easy being a military wife, and it's not easy being a military husband. It's not easy for either party or children.
And I'll give you, you mentioned about the service over here. If you can manage to get into the Air Force Academy, you do a 4-year degree at the Air Force Academy, and then it's all paid for as long as you do 5 years in the Air Force in the service. So you get yourself a free degree.
I think that the military, just in general, they're probably going to push back against this anyhow, because women in the military get harmed a lot by other service members as well. And so when they hear that, I don't think that they're going to,
I know
people get pregnant all the time and have to have abortions.
somebody used to work for me that was multiply raped.
Well, I did not want to say that.
She was multiply raped, and it involved the Coast Guard.
Exactly. And
That was a story I heard, and she ended up suffering with bipolar disorder for the rest of her life.
It's something that happens a lot, and so I'm like, well, when
Different time.
Sergeant,
It was a different time. It was a different.
Still happens. I have friends in the military. It still happens. It's very, very bad, and so it's just one of those things where it's like, that's why I think there's going to be a lot of pushback too from them.
But the part that's hurting us is there's 3 commandants by all accounts that need to be put in place, and Congress cannot vote them 3 commandants in place. So decisions can't be made, budgeting can't be made, because nobody's got the power to make them decisions at the moment. And that's what he's stopping. He's put the whole military on hold. And, it sort of tops all its way down.
He needs to get some whiskey and go drink some and mind his own business.
No, what he needs to do is to find another job out of Congress. That's really what he does, or the Senate.
Yeah, I think it's unfair for him to say that he's voting for Alabama when it's like, yes, you are a representative for Alabama, but now you are a part of Congress. You're not a senator.
Well, a lot of people, and I don't. A lot of people blame Mitch McConnell. I think he's got his own health problems at the moment, but they're blaming Mitch McConnell and Kevin McCarthy for not getting his caucus in place, basically, and saying, look, come on, you've got to vote this because it's leaving the military open. So, but anyway, we'll move on. I want to talk this morning about UAW strike expands to Mercedes supplier in Alabama. We're back to Alabama. What's your feeling on the strike for the automakers? For the 2 ladies, a drivetrain plant in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, went on strike Wednesday, joining several United Auto workers. What's your feeling on unions in general?
I think that they're there for a reason a lot of times. It just depends on what it is. Why are they striking this time?
Because the main person at General Motors has had a pay increase of 34% since 2000. I don't know, but basically, I don't know when. She's had a pay raise of 34%, and all the workers have not had an increase anywhere like that at all. I mean, it's single digit. So I'm a big believer in unions, and the reason why I'm a big believer in unions because I think it's worse over here than what it is in Europe. I think there's a balance that you've got to find. We had a lady in the 80s. I'm sure you've heard of her. Her name is Margaret Thatcher. Okay? She was a capitalist like you've never ever seen before. And this is what threw me against capitalism. I was 24 years old. And I'm from a family where they were all basically coal miners. And in 1984 we had riots, and what happened was Margaret Thatcher decides that she's going to close down the pits, and that she's going to literally, close them all down, update them or whatever. And there was 184 pits that were closed, and 285,000 miners lost their jobs. Now you imagine what that does to local communities. And that's, if you think about it, that's what's happened to a lot of cities in the States. Detroit at one time, it's getting a bit better now, but at one time Detroit was, the car manufacturing center of the world.
Mm-hmm. Motor City.
Yep.
It really was. I mean, even back home in Europe, we was collecting Phillips 66 petrol signs. I had one in my bedroom. And I really feel that it wouldn't harm anybody and a lot of workers in America to be part of a union, because it holds the employers, and how a lot of these employers get around it, they do share buybacks. So what happens is they say, oh no, that's not a pay increase, so they'll have shares and they'll give them the shares to the directors, and indirectly that share, when they are given the shares, might be $2, because everything's directed now on Wall Street for the shares to go up. And then when they retire, last year I think the GM, because all of a sudden GM went from not a profit making situation but a profit making situation, it's made a profit this year. All of a sudden her wages were like 40 million or whatever.
Have these car manufacturers really done that good though? I mean, it hasn't been
Well,
too long ago.
who bailed them out in
Exactly.
2000? Who bailed them out in 2008?
That's what I'm saying.
And then, so we bailed them out, and then the directors took these buybacks because they're buying the shares at a lower price. All right, they took the money basically, and then, apparently they paid it back, but indirectly they ended up paying the directors more than anybody else. Now, to me, it should be shared out if the company's making money. I think it, and especially with the cost of living is everywhere in the world. The world is dealing with an inflation crisis.
Yep.
And then when you see directors getting increases like this, and then you get workers that are struggling paycheck to paycheck, then I think it's something that needs to be addressed. And I'm a big believer in unions. I don't know, did Starbucks try to put in a union and it got voted down?
I actually do not know.
Starbucks, I don't know if they've got a union. I know they tried it, and I think it got voted down. Go check on that if you can. And then who was the other one that tried putting in a union? Amazon did. Amazon tried putting in a union.
Is it June? So they did. They have tried, but none have enacted.
And it gives the worker. I'll tell you what it does. It gives the workers a joint voice, and indirectly I think it helps the management, because what happens is hopefully it comes through, on one voice, and then it's more from a company standpoint. If it's done properly and managed properly, I think it's more of a solid basis for doing good business.
So it says they unionized, but they haven't done anything. It says they're at a stalemate actually as of yesterday, 17 hours ago.
This is what, Starbucks?
So it says 340 of the 355 stores. It's 8,000 workers, but they have not. They're having a face-off with the negotiations, and they're basically trying.
But that will happen with the union.
Yeah.
But but basically, if you look, and there are graphs out there, if you look at unions and the way that workers' benefits and their wages increase over time, Valley, excuse me, pardon me,
Bless you.
they will increase over time with the unions, but I don't think the union should be aggressive. But this guy who's pushing the unions, he seems a little bit more aggressive to me. What's his name?
Well, it says when these employees try to unionize Starbucks, the CEO stepped down.
Schultz.
No. Kevin Johnson.
Okay.
And then Schultz came into the picture.
Because Schultz was the founder, wasn't he? He was the founder of Starbucks, I thought.
Not sure.
I think that I think unions are important because if we get rid of unions, we better get rid of Labor Day, because that's the only reason that we have Labor Day is because.
Well, and the other part is, here's the part that sucks about America: no healthcare. The standard of schools is poor. It's very, very difficult, and I think that even if we had healthcare or some sort of minimal pension, all right, which hopefully unions could help with, indirectly that may even help our, what do they call it, our deficit.
One of my friends is part of an electricians union, and that even helps provide jobs. Like when there's no jobs for like set companies and things like that, they're able to. He's able to go, to Dallas or to Houston, San Antonio for 6 weeks and be able to have a job.
So if there's a disaster in Florida, like baby throwing, and they need an electrician, he can. Yeah. See, I think that's great.
Yeah.
I think that's great. Okay. All right. Let's talk about Miss Boebert on the very, very last one. Have you got that clip?
Let's see. At a family-friendly event.
Inflation is at.
Do this right after this ad.
If you want to play that, then.
And children by exposing them to what she calls obscene content in reference to things like drag performances for children and the use of LGBTQ inclusive flashcards to teach colors to students. Well, on Friday, Boebert apologized for her own behavior, coming at a recent performance of the family-friendly musical Beetlejuice showing in Denver.
Well, that's a nice show.
That's a great,
That's very
for the kids, but for the kids, flashcards. She's worried about flashcards.
Now, originally she said she wasn't vaping. It was
Let's give credit
the lady behind her is a pregnant lady.
At this theater in Denver, Colorado, extraordinarily clear. Because the 36-year-old congresswoman first denied reports that she had been vaping during the performance, but you'll see in a moment, she was. According to the Denver Post, a pregnant woman seated behind her asked her to stop taking flash pictures. There it is. Before Boebert was ejected for causing a disturbance to show.
I wonder what was in that vape.
Cameras there in that theater. Boebert had to change her tune and apologize after surveillance video revealed that she was indeed vaping.
And then she gave him the finger on the way out.
She and her companion explicitly groping each other repeatedly while they were in their seats. The congresswoman, a mother of four, and a grandmother, said, quote, "I simply fell short of my values on Sunday."
Jonathan, when you said explicitly groping each other, what does that mean?
I mean, don't
You are there. She is vaping.
I think.
I think Lauren Boebert is not one known for reaching across the aisle in Congress, but there was some of that here. With
And apparently she said, mind your own business to the woman behind
let's say
her.
they were handsy in their behavior. So Kathy Kay, as we marvel again at the flash photos and the vaping and the other lewd behavior, let's call it groping. Just another example of Republican hypocrisy to you.
I'm just glad that I'm not.
How do you feel about a member of, was it she Congress or is she the Senate? What is she?
She is a
rep? Representative from Colorado?
Yeah.
And
we know
they're
what's
soon to
legal
be
there.
not even together anymore.
She's just divorced her husband apparently.
They looked nice and cozy that day.
Yeah, she's a representative of Colorado.
So she's the US representative in Congress.
But I think it's funny, Courtney, I mean, it's Colorado, so you know what's in that pen.
Yeah.
What's in that pen?
Maybe a little THC.
Something to relax.
I don't know. When people are vaping around me, it doesn't bother me because it doesn't have that smell. As long as you're.
It bothers me.
As
I
long as they're
hate
not-
it when they're outside and they're vaping.
As long as they're not blowing it in my face, I'm fine.
I hate it.
I hate when people vape inside. I think it's stupid. It's like, take a walk and go outside. It's like 30
Well,
seconds.
the
Like,
rules
what?
of the city are you've got to, if you're going to smoke or vape, it's got to be 25 feet away from any main doors.
Yeah, any entrance.
It used
Do-
to be 8, now it's 20.
Do you get like secondhand smoke from vape too?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's really bad. It's like one of those myths where like this
The other
thing
day I
is
seen a
better
car
than-
driving down Westheimer and there was so much smoke either side coming out the car. I wondered how the heck they seen out the window because two of them was vaping in there.
I don't like one of my friend's husbands
It was
because
terrible.
we were at their kid's birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese and he was vaping inside of the Chuck E. Cheese and I was like,
It's easier to get away with it because it doesn't smell as bad.
right.
But is it
It's
allowed?
like cotton candy, so
Is it allowed?
no, it's not.
It's
Especially-
considered smoking, isn't it?
Yeah, especially at Chuck E. Cheese with children around. I think that's silly. But anything, I feel like if you can't control it, you probably shouldn't be doing it. Because, yeah. But
The part that's interesting about the Lauren Boebert thing about this, her ex-husband is blaming himself for it. So here she is with a new boyfriend, and her ex-husband is blaming.
it's funny that it's at a family-friendly play and she doesn't want her kids to, learn colors or whatever they were saying. She doesn't want people to learn colors using LGBT flashcards. But it's like, you're a Beetlejuice. This man's grabbing your boobs.
Is Beetlejuice? I mean, is it a good show? Has it got good reviews or?
It's scary for kids.
Yeah, I was like,
think.
I can't believe that.
I don't think it's a family friendly.
I didn't like the movie personally.
Yeah,
It's probably for teenagers, but I mean, for little kids, I think it's too scary.
It's putting demonic things in a pretty package. I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah,
I don't like Beetlejuice.
I don't like
I've never allowed my kids to watch Beetlejuice because it's scary. I don't know. It's too weird for me.
Anyway,
I'm not a big fan of ghosts, so I don't watch anything with ghosts in them. That's just me. I don't watch horror.
I don't
movies
watch
and
scary
things.
things.
Me neither.
you don't.
No scary movies.
I'm not into
Happy
scary
thoughts.
stuff.
Happy thoughts.
Best way to lead your life. Anyway, until next week, I guess we'll leave it there, and then Kay can go and do her stuff and clip all this stuff for us today.
We're not gonna show Laura's favorite naked Dallas man.
Oh, go on then.
Just kidding.
Go on then. Let's go and, as you've said it now, you've got to show it. All right.
Oh Lord.
I'll show his.
Kay, who's our director of the show, she found this guy walking through with his attire, with his basic birthday suit on, walking through, is it Dallas Airport?
Dallas Airport.
There's a naked guy in the airport. Yes, there is.
Okay, where was all the TSA security?
He was so nonchalant.
That was the scene if you had a tool.
Where was his
But
luggage?
to be honest with you, once you
His
get
luggage
past
is
the
TSA.
security in the front, there's not much going on in the back. Unless you cause a huge disturbance, there ain't agents everywhere. Once you get past the checkpoint, that's it.
Everywhere?
Yeah, there are.
There is.
But I mean, they detained him. They got him.
It just probably
but,
took a little bit.
Yeah, it's he walked past Whataburger and.
I wonder if they had to tackle him.
Or did they put in handcuffs?
Like, I just feel like, what's wrong? I want to know what was going on with him.
Like the story as
I
to
think
why.
he must have been having a nervous
Mental
breakdown or something, or a breakdown of some sort, you know. But anyway, I guess that'll leave us there on that
Maybe he
that
vapes.
happy note.
And maybe he vapes. Laura said.
Maybe he vaped. He forgot.
Maybe he wasn't able to bring his medicine with him because it wasn't legal.
He
How about
didn't.
that?
I don't think there was anywhere to put his vape.
Laura had a good point. Where is his suitcase? Where is his stuff?
You're not supposed to leave your suitcase anywhere. You have to have your airport and your ticket at least on your phone. He doesn't even have a phone. Doesn't even look like he has a phone.
Well, he's missing his clothes. I mean, that's kind of important. So you think he's going to remember his luggage too?
Anyway, we'll leave it
Oh
there.
God.
So I'd like to thank the two lone ladies. We'd like to thank Laura and Laurie. We can contact you through Lone Star Premier Mortgage. And how can we contact you?
Laura at lspmortgage.com.
And we hope that your cold gets better.
So
Thank you for coming on this today. And we'd also like to thank Courtney through Lone Star Premier Mortgage. And how do we contact you?
You can contact me at Courtney at lspmortgage.com.
And if you want to contact me, you can contact me through any social media at c21olympiantx.com. You can find us on Instagram if you want to get involved in investing in properties, or you want to become a real estate agent, or you're interested, or you need to know more. You're more than welcome to call us or contact us. So until next week, thank you very much. Have a great time. Have a great week. Stay healthy. Stay happy. And as always, ta-da for now.